This review was made possible by contributions from viewers like you.
Hey guys, I am about to go off to see the new Wonder Woman movie. Sorry it's been taking me so long to do so. Just like my last two reviews of films that have been in theaters at the time, I'm just going to give my initial thoughts and some of my concerns and some things I'm optimistic about before going actually to see the movie, and then I'll come back and give my actual reaction to it. I will say that it is so comforting that they finally decided to make a movie with this little thing called sunlight. The rest of the DCEU has just been so incredibly drab, it's just a real breath of fresh air to see that they've got 1, light, and 2, color. Oh my god! So, are they turning things around into the right direction to show, hey, it's a comic book movie, you're allowed to have colors in it? I don't know. Let's find out. There are a few things I'm still wary about, though, because, you know, DC movie. I've been hurt so many times already. In the trailers, it looks like Wonder Woman is really quick to bust out the sword, as opposed to taking out her lasso of truth first. And it must be remembered that the lasso of truth has the ability to change the minds of gods. So, yeah, that's kind of a powerful thing right there. You know how they say that the pen is mightier than the sword? That's the same thing. I'm going to destroy you! Hey, you shouldn't do that. I shouldn't? No, you shouldn't. Oh, okay, I guess I'll stop then. There you go. I'm also curious as to why they set the movie in World War I as opposed to World War II, like Wonder Woman was supposed to be coming out in. I mean, are they doing it just because they're afraid of looking like Captain America? Because most people know that the bulk of superheroes did emerge at that time, and a great deal of them did in fact fight Nazis. Captain America wasn't the only one. You even had Batman and Superman do it. If you want to make a movie where Wendy's punching some Nazis in the face, that's okay, we'll buy it. I'm also curious as to why she's running around in World War I. She is literally the world's first modern superhero, as people these days would know the term. But we don't get any other superhero activity until Batman a few years before Superman comes along. I don't get it. I would have thought that she would have inspired some more people to do their own superheroing at that point. But, guess we're just gonna have to wait and see the movie to see if any of those questions get answered. So, I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I'm hearing really good things about it. So, let's take a look-see. I'll be right back. Okay, I gotta say right off the bat, I don't hate this movie. It's a lot better than Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. So it's looking like maybe Warner Brothers is heading in the right direction with this movie and maybe their future movies? I don't know. I hope so. Fortunately, most of my problems with this movie are in the first half, so let's just get those out of the way nice and early. They did establish that Wonder Woman was born from clay, which is good because they're not afraid of showing some magical elements in the cinematic universe. However, instead of Hippolyta praying to a bunch of goddesses to have Wonder Woman, she has to pray to Zeus to make that happen. That is wrong. It was always kind of Wonder Woman's thing that she's such a powerful icon of feminism that she doesn't even need a man to even exist. And then all of a sudden she's here because her mother prayed to a male god? No, that's just wrong. And by the way, New 52, f*** you for making Zeus Wonder Woman's biological father. Little Diana wants to grow up to be a part of the military. Her mother doesn't want her to grow up to be a part of the military. But that's literally all that we see the Themyscirans do. There is nothing else on Paradise Island but to prepare for war. and ride horses. Prepare for war and ride horses. That's all there is. What's one you gonna do? Grow up to be a barista? And then the Germans attack Paradise Island, and we can see that, yeah, it's separated from the rest of the world like it's supposed to, but for some reason, when it's daytime at Themyscira, it's nighttime at the rest of the world, and vice versa. What would you know? Haven't you heard of suspension of disbelief? There's this one point where Hippolyta shows little Diana this sword which can apparently kill gods, because she's really curious about fighting in the wars and stuff, and I swear she has the creepiest little smile on her as she looks at it. It's just sort of... I mean, I guess if she was supposed to be excited by it, she could have gone, "Oh, wow, that's really interesting." Not... "I have plans for you." That's a smile that says, "I'm gonna murder you in your sleep, and then I'm gonna forget that I ever did it." By the way, remember Buttercup from The Princess Bride? Yeah, she's in this movie too. I was surprised just like everyone else. And she is awesome! Amazon General Buttercup! So she goes on training Wonder Woman to be the best of the Amazons, and then the movie shows us how awesome she is by having the Germans kill her almost immediately. One of them shoots at Diana, and they fire this really slow-moving CGI bullet at her, and it looks like, oh my god, she's gonna die! But then Amazon General Buttercup leaps in front of her, and she gets killed. The bullet's moving in super slow-mo, so you're thinking, oh wow, she's gonna block it with her bracelet or something, or maybe she's gonna pull out an arrow and shoot it in half like Robin Hood, but no, it just kills her dead. That's pretty lame. Wait a minute, what the had to happen in the first place? That slow-moving bullet is coming at Diana. Why doesn't she use that as the opportunity to learn how to block bullets with her bracelets? We see her blocking bullets later on in the movie, but so far, all she's had to practice with are arrows. Oh no, there's a bullet coming towards me. I'm gonna try to block it like I always do. Can I do it? Holy shnikes, it worked. That would have been perfect! I gathered that the whole point of setting the movie in World War I as opposed to World War II was so that Wendy could fight a more morally ambiguous kind of villain, which is definitely something worth looking into when making a supervillain in a superhero battle. But in this war, she is fighting Ares, who is being aided by somebody named Dr. Poison, who is looking to kill millions of people at a time with a special kind of gas that can actually melt and penetrate gas masks. That is evil! Just make them Nazis! When the Lasso of Truth finally does make its first appearance, it's just kind of there. There's no build-up or anything, it's just, oh hey, the Lasso of Truth compels you. I'm not gonna tell the truth. Do it. Okay. The entire movie is told from the perspective of a young Diana as she grows up into this world. Could we not explain the lasso to her? To explain it to us? Not everyone's gonna get it. I saw something in the trailer which always confused me, but I never got an answer for why this actually happened. Why do the Themyscirans worship a giant tentacle? It's weird. There is no tournament scene in order to determine who of the Amazons is supposed to go out off with Steve Trevor to fight in the war. Diana just up and steals everything that she has to have in order to go with him. And then there's a later scene where Hippolyta just says to her, oh well, I suppose you're going to do what you must in order to save the world. Go, Diana, and save the world. Why not just give her the weapons then? Of course, it follows the familiar plot point of Steve Trevor crashing into Themyscira, and he tells the Amazons that, oh hey, there's a big war coming, and so Diana has to go off with him to Man's World in order to stop the war. So they're going off into a little sailboat into Man's World, and Wonder Woman says, when it comes to pleasure, men are necessary. Really? If the roles were reversed and it was a man who was saying that about women, he would be seen as an asshole, a douchebag, and a loser who's only bitter because he can't attract any women. That is a double standard, and I don't approve. So they finally do get to London, and Diana thinks it's hideous. Which is wrong. She's been stuck on Paradise Island her entire life, and yes, okay, fine, it's a paradise, maybe the rest of the world just kind of falls short, but she is supposed to be enthusiastic about everything. She wants to learn about everything. She is supposed to look up at London with the same kind of awe and wonderment that anyone would when looking at Disneyland for the first time. And then we go into the whole fish out of water story, which you would expect with this kind of material, but for some reason she's not amazed by the presence of cars. And then of course she meets Etta Candy, and she says that line from the trailer, which still sounds terribly wrong in the movie. So what do? I'm a secretary. What's a secretary? Oh well, he tells me what to do and where to go. Oh well, where I come from, that's a slave. No, where you come from, that's called somebody who has a job. Or at least that's what you would call someone who has a job if there were other jobs on Themyscira. There's one point where Steve Trevor is instructed by one of his superiors to go to the front or something. And Diana has to ask, what is a front? Huh? Your entire culture revolves around the military! How do you not know what a front is? On their way to the German front, Steve and Wonder Woman sample a little bit of ice cream. Which I guess is part of her mythology now, because that happens everywhere. Except unlike in the New 52, this time they did it correctly. Oh, it's wonderful. That's all you need! So there's the German front, which they've been holding for like a year, and no one's been able to cross it without getting met by a hail of gunfire. And then all of a sudden, here comes Wonder Woman, all in her gold and blue and red and whatever, and she just stands up tall and proud, and she just... Get out! And she's just still going at it. Come at me, brah! Damn. That is awesome. And then the theme music starts playing, which sounds awesome, but I'm sorry, it's villain music. I mean, maybe it could work with Batman, but can you see it fitting with any other hero? So after a couple more scenes of Wonder Woman kicking ass and taking names, which, by the way, is completely awesome in every respect, then we get a few more quiet scenes with Steve Trevor and Diana, and quite frankly, they got a lot better chemistry than Clark and Lois. So at least this movie's doing that right. All throughout this movie, Wonder Woman has been convinced that Ares, the god of war, is what's causing World War I, and she's been hunting down this German general who she thinks is actually Ares in disguise. So she finally corners this German general, but then, oh my gosh, it's actually this British general that's been Ares the whole time! So they don't want to go along with the cliche of fighting Nazis, but they're totally fine with the trope of the British guy being the bad guy. We're progressive! It's revealed that Ares is trying to destroy humanity because he thinks that's the only way that he can save the Earth. And he reveals this motivation while holding the lasso of truth with Wonder Woman, while actually showing her what he thinks is the truth. And that is awesome, because this is one enemy that Wundy can't just whip the lasso around and say, hey, you stop that. Okay, I guess I'll stop that. I was wrong. No. He is convinced that he's right, and there is nothing that Wonder Woman can do now but put him down. And then Steve has to sacrifice himself by blowing something up, which sends Diana into a rage. And hell hath no fury like a woman who's lost her puppy. You killed Mr. Fluffy Muffin! Ah! So she's killing everyone in her path, and then Ares goes all emperor on her and goes, reach out with your anger. Use your hatred. But then Wonder Woman remembers who she is, does the little arm block thing, and then blows him up somehow. I don't know. And then she writes in her email to Bruce Wayne, the one where she saw all the trailers in the last movie, but how she's all about peace and love from now on. And then she goes off to do more superheroing, and I'm left wondering why we haven't seen any superheroes between World War I and 2016. I know it sounds like I'm ragging on this movie, but that's only because there was so much more to complain about in the first half. That second half, however, is pretty much gold, so yeah, I would recommend seeing this movie just for that. I mean, sure, it's got its flaws, but it's still a lot better than Batman vs. Superman or Suicide Squad. So yeah, go check it out, and I will see you later.
Subscribe, like, follow.